Oh boy, where to start? Well, hey there, Cheez here, and if you don't, if you don't know, I make videos sometimes, but I also make levels sometimes, and sometimes there's a level making contest, and this is what this is about. So, here we have me, um, doing developer commentary for my level here, with its name. That's certainly a name, yeah. If you'll believe, that's actually one of the more straightforward names I got. The others had completely more, like, non sequitur things such as, and Cood said unto them, wipe the collar, uh, obligingly obtain in staking manner. There was Super Mario Brothers 2 is a satisfying experience, like, all sorts of just gibberish. I didn't know what to make out of any of them. But, as you can see, I went with this one. I should probably warn you ahead of time. The Birdo have the ability to question in the lake, and I interpreted it like this. Really didn't have much else I could have interpreted it as, honestly. So about the level. Once I decided question was going to mean game show, well, for one, the other main thing that I had that like piqued my interest in the title was, haha, that's a grammar mistake, and I decided to make that a joke all throughout the level. So apparently, because clearly the plural of Birdo, it being Birdo, means it can't be Birdos, the usual ones. It has to be something else, like these little guys, and that's where that came from. I made pretty much every Toad NPC in the main area bring up that plural Birdo at least once. Also, a little side note thing, if you've seen the whole of the level already, those four choices for where were we just now actually encompass the entire selection of, or like, every one of the every location of the five Birdos. There are two up in a nook in the sky, there's one in the submerged cavern that we see right here, there was the one at the lake surface, and the other one is beneath the stars that end the level. So, anyone who wasn't sure where they were, maybe they would have noticed that, and that's kind of why that's like that. And if not, hey, it's just a neat little thing, I guess. So, what I had in mind mainly for the level was for people to just wander around, like, look here and there their first time through the level, and kind of make it to the end with only one or two questions having been answered, and take the level ending star that's there and start anew. As it turns out, the major complaint with the level was that didn't necessarily happen, and people, I guess, got the second star first that ends the level once you complete all 5 quizzes, and then they had to go through and get the first one again. And I never even thought about that. So that is definitely one place where I feel like this level could have improved, for sure. But other than that, I'm pretty happy how it turned out. So far, everything in the level, or everything that's happened so far, is about how I expected it, like, to go on a first time through. Getting that vine was important, because that's, like, basically the only way I could have had a midpoint in such a compact and interwoven level like this. On the subject of the questions, I tried to make them a little tricky, but not too tough. Like, some of them are just points of memory that, about things that either might have been a long time back or a bit of a minor detail, but things that you're not likely to have completely overlooked or forgotten. And I also wanted it to, and the ones that weren't memory were kind of like thinking outside the box, like this one, like who else was in that little box? It was the vine that came up. And just stuff like that that's not, that could stump people, but stumping people wasn't the goal. And I'm glad I seem to have succeeded on that front. I will say one thing. Oh, like see there what I was saying about the midpoint and the travel to getting the vine, or like realizing the vine was there, was a bit of probably the most intensive travel that there is in this level. So that was definitely where it goes, and you can skip all of that just by knowing it's there. And that's definitely the intended way to get there, and all of that stuff. Once you got the springboard, the idea was to, oh yeah, and I have this little sunken ship there. I tried to make it so you couldn't get stuck or warp ahead of where you should be. I think it turned out alright. And it looks rather alright. With this being an exploration level, I did my best to not make it, oh, go here, then go there, then go there. More of a bit of thought to it. Like there, the Ralco just assumed that you need a shell when, no, it's more of like you gotta think about using what resources you have, and in this case that would be Link's sword. And the idea was also that the springboard was going to be how you get Link up on top of the clouds here in a moment, because as we see, he can't quite get there by climbing the ladder normally. I did not, and like, yeah, seeing that those spikes on the green switch there was supposed to be like noticing you need Link, not some other thing. And you can see here he can't quite make it up onto the clouds working the ladder normally. Well, in a bit, I guess. But I hadn't realized there was the jump momentum glitch with Link in the ladders, and honestly, I'm not exactly sad that Raocow decided that's how you get up there with Link, because while the intended solution was to just have Toad carry the springboard over, I found that one of the other solutions, which was completely unintended, was damage boosting up there with the Fighterfly, and that happened by mistake more than once to me, so I was really worried that Raocow would think that's the intended solution. You know, because if it worked once, it's clearly the intended solution, har har. We know how this works, right? So that's a relief at any rate. Those frowning clouds with the swirly spikes on their head are like the only custom graphics that I made for this thing, with the exception of drawing a lock on a block. And like, I'm really proud of how they turned out, because I'm not an artist at all, and that actually looks kind of nice. Like, kind of blends in almost, and like looks normal. So if you'll excuse me a moment for indulging in that, because that is something I actually feel a little proud of. Anyway, I forget what I was talking about just now. Oh yeah, I guess with the moving clouds and the extra clouds that let you get up to the second layer of clouds here, that's a good point to get to the next part. Since this is an exploration-based level, I wanted to make it so that backtracking was not the issue that it normally is. Like, normally in exploration levels you have to go here and go there. I wanted to just mitigate the tedious element of that, and the two ways I thought of doing that were making it a less obvious go here, go there, and more of a puzzle of where do I go, in what order, how do I get through, like I mentioned earlier with Link's sword and whatnot. but also just with all of these options to minimize backtracking. Like, once you get to that complete dead end up there, I just open a door to let you out on the left if you want to be closer to the left. Once you get to the end of the level, which is normally, like, since it's the end of the normal level, if you ignore the questions, that's a bit harder to get to than pretty much any other place in the level. So once you're there, you get a ladder back up if you want to return there. Just, that's what the vine is at the start for. That's why answering the typical first question gets you a raft, so that you can jump back up through that anytime. That's why the clouds start moving. Like, it's really important to not have a feeling of burnout from backtracking and all that in a level like this. And I did my best on that part. Also, yeah, Icebox, it's a pun now. Hurrah! Originally, while we're on the subject of this toad in the Birdo in the underwater cavern there, at first the icebox was something that I wanted the player to figure out, and one of them would be an icebox, one of them would have a fire flower in it, and where the fire flower regrows right now would just be bombs, as either a red herring or just a nice thing if you want it, kind of like the icebox is now. But my one tester, my good friend 128up, said, "Yo, Cheez, you're being really dumb, and there's no way to complete this second star if we don't get that fire flower as Toad." And I was like, "You're right," and just kind of had to shuffle everything around. I was originally planning on having more interaction between Toad's abilities and Link's abilities, and also more doing things underwater, but turned out that there's a lot less interesting stuff that you can do underwater. So that fell through, and I don't even mind. At first I was, oh yeah, and this here. This is like another thing, just convenience. That's what an exploration level needs. Convenience to go wherever you need. Convenient to know what you have left to find. I don't know. That's what I aim for, and I'm very glad that the judges seemed to enjoy this level, and that Raukau did, and I guess I succeeded in that sense. I'm just incredibly honored I even made it as far as I did. I thought I would be, well, partly because I thought I had to, I don't know if I should be saying this because it didn't show up in the hub, but I misread the names that I had received. I actually received Toad and Luigi and read Toad and Link. So I kind of ended up following the character restrictions in spirit, but not in letter, and so I thought I would get point stock for that. I might have still, I don't know, but I just expected to see myself a little earlier. I wasn't sure how early to even expect to see myself, and to make it this far, past even levels such as Paranoia, I am just so honored. And even though it's a silly thing to be grateful for, I'm very thankful that people seem to enjoy this level so much. Now that I see that oh yeah, and this is kind of the grammar mistake joke coming full circle, because they're not Birdos, they're Birdo, plural. And ha ha ha. And yeah, every like, you got something wrong trap is a little different. They're all potentially dodgeable, and they're all something that if you're not prepared you might get hurt by, to varying degrees depending on which one it is. Also, yes, that was completely well hidden. Good job, Cheez. But yeah. And I think the reason I didn't even consider turning this into a non-level ending star was originally this was going to be like a bonus round sort of area instead of just a rupee shower reward where you're put on an elevator that's climbing a tower with like increasing intensity music, and you can opt out to get the second star at any time, but the more questions you answer, the more rupees and lives and everything you get. I'm glad that fell through the cracks. Really, it was not necessary, and I think it's for the better that that didn't happen. But I think I should have... yeah, after that, after deciding against that, I really should have thought to change that to a non-level ending star. Oh well, hindsight 2020 and all that. That's just about everything I can think of to say about this level. So, that's also the end of this video. Thank you again for enjoying my level, to judges and Raocow and whoever liked it in the comments, I don't know. Whoever liked watching it, and I'll see y'all later. Oh, by the way, I happened to record these a couple days ago, just on a whim. They might not be quite up on Sigilrox's level, but I hope you enjoy.